The Girl Who Stopped Chasing. Hello everyone. Today I have a story for you. It's simple, it's emotional, and it carries a lesson so many of us need to hear right now. By the end of it, you'll understand something about self-respect and self-worth that can quietly change your life. River Mist Valley was a peaceful place, where mornings arrived with golden light and the soft hum of the river winding through it. The hills stood around the valley like gentle guardians, watching over everyone who lived below. In that valley lived a girl named Meera, known by everyone for her kindness. She laughed easily. She helped without being asked. She made strangers feel like old friends. But Meera carried one quiet wound. She had a habit of chasing people who walked away from her. If someone ignored her, she tried harder. If someone stopped replying, she messaged again. If someone made her feel small, she still held on, still hoped, still stayed. Somewhere along the way, she had come to believe that love and affection were things you had to earn, even from people who gave nothing back. Meera worked at her Aunt Rayla's bakery, where the mornings smelled of warm bread and sweet pastry, and the air was always full of chatter and clinking teacups. The bakery was never empty, and yet, standing in the middle of all that warmth, Meera often felt strangely alone, like a girl in a crowded room where no one's eyes actually found her. One afternoon, walking home, she noticed a small brown sparrow perched on an old fence. One wing sat slightly bent. The bird looked tired, but calm. Meera knelt beside it. "You poor little one," she whispered. The sparrow blinked at her but didn't fly away. Something about that, something staying near her, even for a moment, warmed a part of her chest that had been cold for a long time. She left a few crumbs and walked home smiling. The next morning, she came back. The sparrow was gone. A sharp ache rose in her chest. Everything leaves, she thought. Everything. She walked to the bakery with her eyes on the ground. Aunt Rayla noticed right away. "You're quiet today," she said gently. "Just tired," Meera replied and went back to kneading the dough, her hands moving on their own. That week, something worse happened. Rima, Meera's closest friend, grew distant. She stopped visiting the bakery, stopped answering messages, even turned away once when Meera tried to wave to her across the street. Meera felt confused, desperate, afraid of losing one more person. One day, outside the market, she finally found the courage to ask. "Rima," she said softly, "are you upset with me? Did I do something?" Rima's eyes were cold. "I'm just busy, Meera. You don't have to follow me around, okay?" The words landed like ice water. Around them, the market went on, people bargaining, laughing, calling out prices. But Meera heard none of it, only her own heartbeat, loud and frantic in her ears. She turned and walked away, her chest tight, her eyes burning. That evening, she went to her favorite spot by the river, a quiet bend where willow branches leaned low over the water. The sky was painted orange and gold, but none of it reached her. She felt only the ache. A familiar chirp broke the silence. The little sparrow landed beside her. Meera's tears came softer now. "Why does everything leave me?" she whispered. "Why do I always have to be the one who chases?" The sparrow tilted its head as if it were actually listening. The river murmured. The wind moved through the willows. And for a moment, something in Meera went still. Then she heard voices behind her. Two girls from the village were walking the river path, unaware she was there. "Did you hear what Rima's been saying?" one of them said. "She told everyone Meera's too clingy, too emotional, that she follows her around like a shadow." They laughed and kept walking. Meera froze. Her hands went cold. A sting spread through her chest, sharper than anything before. So this was the truth. Rima hadn't been busy. Rima had been laughing about her, behind her back. The tears that came now weren't soft. They were sharp, carrying years of silent chasing, silent hoping, silent shrinking. The sparrow chirped again, almost urging her to breathe. I didn't know she felt that way, Meera whispered, shaking. For a moment, she wanted to run, to disappear. Instead, she stayed. She sat with the river in front of her and let everything rise. Hurt, betrayal, confusion, anger, until, slowly, it settled into something else. Stillness. And in that stillness, a realization arrived, quiet but absolute. She wasn't the one losing people. People who didn't value her were the ones losing her. She reached out and touched the little bird gently. "I shouldn't run after anyone anymore," she said. "If someone wants to go, I have to let them." The sparrow fluttered its wings as if agreeing. And for the first time in a long time, Meera felt something new and powerful stir inside her: self-respect. The next morning at the bakery, Meera moved differently. Her steps were steadier. Her smile was smaller, but real. She served customers, laughed with the regulars, and never once reached for her phone. Aunt Rayla watched her quietly, then said, "You look stronger today." "I made a choice," Meera said. "What choice?" "To stop chasing people who don't want to be caught." Aunt Rayla smiled, the kind of smile that comes from having lived long enough to know how rare that lesson is. That's wisdom most adults never learn. Days passed. Rima never came back to the bakery, never apologized, never looked for Meera again. But something else happened, something quieter and better. New people began finding their way into Meera's life. A girl from the tailor shop started stopping by during her breaks, just to talk. A regular customer offered to teach her painting on weekend afternoons. A young boy started helping her feed the sparrow, who now visited every single day, like clockwork. These people didn't want anything from her. They didn't disappear. They didn't need chasing. They simply stayed. One evening, Meera stood outside the bakery as the sky turned soft pink above the hills. The sparrow perched on her shoulder, chirping quietly. She smiled, not because everyone had stayed, but because she had finally stopped running after the ones who never meant to. So if you ever feel unseen, unimportant, or left behind, remember Meera. You don't have to run after anyone. The people who belong in your life will stay by choice, not by force. Take a breath. Every action carries its own return, and choosing self-respect always leads somewhere better. Let go, grow, and let the right souls find their way to you.